question has come up a number of times about why Grace Church does not just comply with the orders that have been laid down for churches. And I thought it might be helpful to give you the list of things that are required of us as a church so that you understand how utterly impossible that would be. Here are the basic orders. No indoor meetings at all. Pre-registration of every person who comes onto church property. People only allowed on church property for scheduled events. Every person who comes on the property is to be screened and have their temperature taken at the entry. We all must maintain 6 feet of social distance at all times everywhere, including the parking lot and the restrooms. Every other parking space must be left vacant. Signs indicating these mandates and also full exposure on social media. Restrooms are to be used during the service to minimize the rush. No hymn books, no communion, no offering containers, no pew Bibles, no singing, no hugging, no shaking hands. Disposable seat covers changed between services, and the services have to be shortened, and based upon the separation, we could only meet in the tent with a maximum of 350 to 400 people. You can see that these are the requirements that would completely shut the church down. Obviously, this is not constitutional, but more importantly, it goes against the will of the Lord of the church. He calls us to gather. Amen?
What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader or will you follow? Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power. What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader or will you follow? Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power. What you gonna do when they show up in black suits on your street in army boots? And then silence you. What you gonna say when they strip your rights away and the tax man makes you pay for every bit of sweat you bled today?
Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to welcome you to the Grace Community Church Peaceful Protest.
What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader or will you follow? Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power. What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader or will you follow? Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power.
I'm sorry. You gave a keynote speech at the Bohemian Grove Club, sir. A club which openly has mock child sacrifices and satanic worship, sir.
What about the depopulation? I mean, Memorandum 200. Why are you afraid to talk about your depopulation plan?
Why don't you get lost?
Why should I get lost?
To let you know, the New World Order has no legitimacy. And that we as a people are not afraid, and we are waking up to the robber barons and the big banksters who are looting this economy with the Federal Reserve.
Well, investigate 9/11. 9/11 was perpetrated by people within our own government.
Hell is waiting for whoever rejects Jesus Christ. We offer ourselves for Jesus. God surrender your life into His hands. Is Jesus Lord? Because until Jesus Christ is Lord, we will not be your Savior.
Because the devil is a liar. I'm still standing because of Jesus Christ. You can't tell me that God is not real. You can't tell me that my God is not alive.
Jesus said, I am the way. He said, I am the truth. He said, I am the light. No one comes to God but by Jesus.
When I put my hand on God's word and held my other hand up to Him and swore that I'd give my life to defend that Constitution, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but regardless of what y'all do or don't do, I'm not going to enforce an unconstitutional law. I'm going to get
Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power.
I got to add the stream. Can you guys hear me right now? Man, look how dark it is. All right, we got Steve. All right, so we got Mo TBR, Mark the Beast Resistance. Thanks for being here, buddy. We got Steve Stevenson, my favorite elderly citizen. Thanks for being here, bro. So yeah, if you couldn't tell from the title, me and Amber are joining you guys tonight from Wisconsin Dells. We are at what hotel are we in? Some, what one is like a common hotel. I forget because this is
Ramada.
Ramada. Like Ramadan. Oh, great. All right, we're at the Ramada. And now you hear a baby crying. So this is the thing. We got 2 conjoining rooms. My sister-in-law is in the other conjoined room with the little kids, and we're in here with the boys and then the baby who you hear crying right now. So I got to be a little quiet. We got Amanda saying a swear word. Hell yeah, she says. Good to see you. Good to see you too, buddy. Oh, Renee's here. Blessings. Hello and God bless. Hey, Renee. Glad you're here.
Actually, wait. Really quick before we get into it.
Yeah.
Renee, I want you to, if you have a way to reach out to me or Tim, like, we really want to send you something. So you can look up, like, my name on Facebook or Tim's name if you have one. Or send an email. It was on, like, the last live.
Yeah, if you could just give us your, I don't know, because I don't know if you want to put your stuff out there publicly, but we just want some way to get in touch with you, Renee, because we have a gift for you. Let me see if this light works. How does that look? Weird? We're in this hotel. Okay, guys. Yeah, because Steve Stevenson says, can barely see you in that dark room.
No, it is.
Amanda says, come on, Amber. All right, so as I told you guys last week, and we followed through, here we are. But I don't necessarily have a big presentation like we are trying to do with our usual episodes. This weekend was more focused on having a great time with the kids. We took them to a water park, and we've been having a good time. And
actually, it was a field trip through Levi's school. Like, I've been homeschooling him, and they have. I try to do like one field trip a month, and like the field trip this month was a day at this like water park in Wisconsin Dells, which is amazing. Like, it was so fun.
Yeah, so the kids all had a lot of fun, and we did too. And Renee, you know what? It just occurred to me when I saw you said this that I gave you the Fallen World Films email, of course. But I guess I haven't actually checked it for a few days, so it's my bad. I've been checking my personal email. So if you sent it, and now I see that you sent your email, so cool. I'm going to get in touch with you, and we got something coming your way. That is what's up. You have to live life, bro, and not let the garbage overwhelm you. Yeah, amen. And we got, so we have 4 kids with us right now, and my sister-in-law has 4 kids with her, and they're all cousins, and I think despite the type of thing that we always talk about on this show and the stuff that we understand is coming and what's going on, pretty much we can't go a show, especially since we're like a husband and wife team here, like we always end up bringing up the kids, but we got these young kids, and it's like, it's kind of hard to find a balance between preparing your kids for, the future that they're going to inherit and making sure that they understand the reality of what's going on, while alongside of that, still trying to allow for them to have their innocence, and experience the wonder of life. So I don't know. I'm not saying we have it all figured out, but it brings me a lot of joy to do things like this. And they've just been having a great time. I get flashbacks watching them play together of me with my own older brother when I was a kid. Tinkerbell says, hey, y'all, just want to see your stuff rocks. I suppose she says, say, thanks, Tinkerbell. I don't think I've seen you around before. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Stick around. Amber's going to be talking with you guys. So like I was saying, I don't have a regular show for you, but I did put together this little slideshow. But this is the thing. I failed so far to, I got it right here. Let's just go through some news real quick while you guys are getting on here. Oh, hold up. Renee's husband is here too. Yeah, thanks, Renee. I don't know if I got your name, Renee's husband, but I know I talked to you in the comments, and I'm honored that you're here tonight. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but again, this isn't the average episode. We're just kind of hanging out. If you guys got any questions, this can be kind of a Q&A thing, just kind of a talking thing. But just to get some conversations going, let's just look at a few quick things in the news. After school Satan club. So here's something since the last time we talked. are invading schools again. Here's how you stop them. It's not what you think. And this is something that Amber texted me that I just literally threw these slides together while having a smoke break shortly before doing this live stream. So we kind of threw it together, but this is some stuff that Amber's been looking at. But I think that you guys probably have been seeing some of this stuff too. This is from PJ Media, kind of a right-leaning, I think even Christian maybe media source. It's a real good article. I'm just going to read it. At least once a year, we see stories popping up all over the country about anti-God activists organizing after-school Satan clubs at schools around the country. Parents, understandably outraged and afraid, promptly march to their local school boards to demand that the clubs be banned. And before we even go on, it's exactly what the Church of Satan and these satanic organizations that are starting these after-school Satan clubs, which, by the way, maybe I shouldn't even jump right into it. If there happens to be anybody watching that doesn't know, this is something that's actually been going on for years. I mean, I don't know how long, but this is something that keeps popping up in the news over the last few years. And it's all based off of, it's going to come up here in the article. I think it might be called the Good News Clubs or something, but in America, traditionally, a lot of public schools have offered this after-school program that is, funded and run by some Christian ministry called I don't know, we're going to see what it's actually called, but it's a Christian Bible-based after-school program, right? And just like the Church of Satan loves to do, being politically measured as they are, wherever there's a 10 Commandment statue is where they're putting up a Baphomet statue. And wherever there's any type of, state recognition of something biblical, that's where the Church of Satan wants to jump in and, implement some satanic thing. So that's what's been going on regarding this after school Satan. It's a program that the Church of Satan is funding and literally conducting that is only exists to contrast this Christian program. So I just pretty much summarized everything it's just going to say anyways. But let's get into this. It's happening right now in various cities around the country. Here are some recent headlines, and I didn't put in these, but just to show you, most recently, Lebanon, Ohio schools respond after approving facility use for after-school Satan club. And then in Illinois, this is, as you guys know, me and Amber live right on the border of Wisconsin and Illinois. So that was really big news for me when I first heard, because I don't know the county in Illinois. Do you?
I'm sorry, what?
The county in Illinois where doesn't matter.
No, I don't. And actually, so the first link to Ohio, I think that was one of the banned articles that I sent you.
Yeah, I should have included that because Amber just yesterday, like on Facebook Messenger, sent me all these links. And just by today, when I tried putting them together on the slideshow, like half of them had already been banned.
Yeah, there was
Facebook.
like 4 of them that had been banned.
And they're just mainstream articles,
Right. One of them was like NPR, for instance.
Yeah. I put over here, and I tried a million times, but again, I did this so last minute, literally sitting in my truck outside in the cold parking lot. Over on the left side of this slide, this is a banner for the After School Satan Club in Lebanon, Ohio. And this includes this kind of like sign-ups thing at the bottom. And, but I couldn't figure out a way to get the picture I had in good enough resolution to really show you what it says. But I did cut out this little top part to give you a gist of how how they're really selling these things at the schools. It's really blurry. I'm going to try to squint and read this to you. This is just the top. There's so much more than this, and it's really wordy because if you don't know anything coming from the Church of Satan, if you ever read up on these guys, they're so like pretentious and pseudo intellectual. They're all really into feeling like they're real smart, but they can't be that smart to arrive at the conclusion that they arrive at. They're really into, most humanists, they're really into exaggerating their own intellect, and it's obnoxious and pretentious, like I said. You'll understand what I mean when I read just listen to the way they say this stuff. But hey, kids, let's have fun at After School Satan Club. Science projects, puzzles and games, arts and crafts projects, nature activities. Like beheading a goat maybe would count as a nature activity. She's talking to you guys. But parents, your child will learn benevolence and empathy. Yeah, 2 things that Satan is definitely known for: benevolence and empathy. critical thinking, problem solving, creative expression, personal sovereignty. And I could go off on a diatribe on each one of these things and point out how hypocritical it is for them to use. I mean, but also point out exactly how this is, you know, I mean, you're talking about, all right, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. After school Satan clubs are taught by volunteer teachers who have passed criminal background checks and have been vetted by the executive ministry for professionalism, social responsibility, and superior communication skills. The Satanic Temple is a non-theistic religion that views Satan as a mythical figure representing individual freedom. I mean, he's not a myth. Okay, so supposing he's a mythical figure, right? And which is what they're claiming, you know, and that the Bible is a book of fiction. It's not mentioned that Satan is a figure that's presented as literal in the book by which they, you know, acquire this figure, Satan. That's one thing that's always annoyed me about Satanism is they require on the Bible as a basis and foundation to even build their, you know, stuff off of. But anyways, After School Satan Club does not attempt to convert children into any religious ideology. Instead, the Satanic Temple supports children to think for themselves. Unlike Christian kids, you know, unlike my kids who are just in a little box and forced to believe whatever I tell them. They say, I always do this, Amber. I can't read this like satanic literature without getting real snarky. I'm just annoyed by these people.
No, I feel you.
It's just so annoying.
Really like cynical lately, and just I don't know.
I'm
sick.
Which is the response that they want us to have, like, and that's why they present stuff this way. That's what the whole nature of the whole thing is. And that's something I'm trying to get at. Like, they want to annoy Christians. They want us to revolt. And they want us to say, no, shut down the after school Satan programs so they can show us how we're hypocrites, because we should be allowed to have our Christian stuff, right, but no other religion should be allowed to have their
right
thing. But and I'm not calling for it to be shut down.
The Satanic Temple, like, that's a religion. Everyone should have access to, you know,
yeah, exactly,
the Satanic Temple after school,
and that
without your parents around,
right? Well, and that's the basis of their argument. And it's frustrating, especially as like a conservative or like a libertarian or somebody that just believes in freedom. It's frustrating because, of course, I actually do support the right for these other, like, I want the difference, the separation of church and state isn't to keep the state safe from religion. It's to keep religion safe from the state, you know? So it's right. Like there needs to exist the opportunity for any religion or any group to be able to, you know, get together with one another and to have some type of fellowship and programs and all of that, all the way up to the Satan thing. It's just, you know, just like we always end up talking about on our videos. I'm not here to say this needs to be shut down. I'm here to point out just another sign of the times, because when you're living, you know, step by step as this Antichrist system gets built, now we're to the point where you look around and we're surrounded by Baphomets. But
also in those flyers, like the school flyers, they were like trying to sit there and say, like, we don't actually like endorse Satan and we don't worship Satan. It's just supposed to, you know, open.
Yeah, they say they're just like political or whatever. But yeah, and
like they just want to be open for like questions or, you know, any sort of questions kids will have, or.
Yeah, but then it's clear that this is what's ridiculous, and this is what the most annoying part is that supposedly it's all based about free speech, you know, and that so this is the 4D chess, I should say, that they at least think that they're playing, but it's still pretty basic stuff. But what it is, you think about the Baphomets that they put up next to the 10 Commandment statues, right? And now you think of these after school Satan programs that they only put into school, as we're going to get into schools that already have these Christian programs after school. Everything is like combative against Christianity specifically. And what they want to do is to get a rise out of the Christian community, not only so that they can point out that we're hypocrites by trying to revoke the same freedom of speech that they're allowing us to have our Christian stuff, you know, but also just to make us look like, you know, the bad aggressive guys and to make themselves look like the victims. And, but the reality is that they're not actually about free speech. Trust me, the real end goal of this is to reallocate, and that's not the right word, but to relabel, biblical truths as hate speech in the new normal, and to relabel biblical prophecies as conspiracy theories in the new world, so that the Bible can eventually be banned, and so that I'm just trying to say they're trying to censor the Bible. Mark my words, that as much as they are using this free speech angle right now, their end game, these people don't care about freedom of speech. It's just a means to an end. Yeah, thanks you guys for a lot of you guys are saying hit the like button and share, and man, I really appreciate those sentiments. All right down here on the bottom, I just threw in the Know Your Enemy, just a selfless plug, just because we're sitting here talking about Satan, and this is a video that you can see on the Fallen World Films channel. That's just kind of further illustrating the thing I'm talking about, and how the real Satanism is closer to humanism than it is some kind of worship of a monster-looking horned devil. Amber, after I read this thing, I told you guys it was going to be casual, and dude, I am so parched. Will you either talk to them and so I can grab a cup of water, or just go grab me a cup?
Well, I have water in the fridge.
Yeah, get me water, please. Thanks, babe. I'm going to continue reading this article. PJ Media has been writing about these clubs since at least 2016. All right, so like I said, it goes back years. Facebook posts from alarmed Ohio parents who wonder what they can do to stop this are filling up my feed. My advice to them is ignore the after-school Satan clubs completely. This is the guy writing the article, who actually seems to be on our side in all this. Before I get to my reasons for that advice, here's a little background on the clubs run by a group called the Satanic Temple, founded by Malcolm, Jerry, and Lucian Greaves in 2013. Oh, man, that feels good.
Dude, we've been in a hot water park all day. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Okay, this is what Lucian Greaves says. The after-school Satan clubs, and think about everything I just said before, and note how this is specifically a combative, assault on the after-school Christian clubs. The after-school Satan clubs meet at select public schools where Good News clubs, that's what they're called, also operate. Trained educators provide activities and learning opportunities which students are free to engage in, or they may opt to explore another interest that may be aided by available resources. The environment is open and parents are welcome to participate. While the classes are designed to promote intellectual and emotional development in accordance with TST's, the Satanic Temple's tenets, no proselytization or religious instruction takes place. Keep going here. According to their mission statement, their goal, and this is again the article, is not to proselytize, and the group is not interested in converting children to Satanism. After-school Satan clubs will focus on free inquiry and rationalism, the scientific basis for which we know what we know about the world around us, according to the group. And of course, do I even want to finish reading this? I'm just, again, you guys, this is one topic that just annoys me just because it's like, and you know what, we got to, on one of these upcoming things, something that I think that we overlook at this point, like in this community. So evolution, something that, I hope that, I don't know how many of my subscribers subscribe to evolution and the Darwinian evolution, but like as all this stuff unravels, and like when you start getting into the really crazy stuff, like maybe the shape of our planet or the nature of the universe, to the real crazy stuff like these satanic secret societies, and as all this stuff unfolds, the things that everybody's about to start seeing are going to be truly mind-blowing. And one thing that I find frustrating about a lot of Christians is that you'd think that like Christians would be the first to accept, understand, rally towards, and even preach out and speak out about these old conspiracies regarding this stuff, because it's the Bible that tells us that like this is the devil's world, and that tells us about the coming Antichrist, and no Christian, like the Bible says, I wish I had the verse memorized, about how like there's those that plot against God and that conspire against him. And I think about evolution, and I want to attack that pretty soon, because you want to talk about when, because if you bring up some of these crazy conspiracy theories, there's a lot of Christians that would be like, yeah, there's just no realistic way that you could get all the countries of the world and all the nations of the world and all the schools and all the universities to all conspire about something that they all knew was wrong, right? Just to push this lie that they know not to be true. And yet Christians, you know, from each side of the map would all agree that when it comes to Darwinian evolution, there's a giant conspiracy at play where worldwide, you know, this baseless science is being used and propagated to hide God and to diminish the reality of creation. And it's being accepted and preached as like a gospel in schools. Here I go. Because Christ is exactly what he said he was, King of Kings, and everything will happen just as he said it would. Yeah, amen. And I know I'm going all over the place, guys. That's another thing we got to attack. It's just that, you know, even though I'm getting real convoluted here, going way off on a rabbit trail, I'm talking about these Satanists, and I know everything is for them hinged on science and evolution, and I'm just annoyed by it, and that's why I went off on that rabbit.
Well, dude, like, it's more than that, though. So, like, obviously, if you really, like, dive into this satanic culture, you're bombarded with, like, all of these images and just, like, these little things that even I've witnessed with, like, so we have young kids, and, like, they watch programs, and, like, they'll even sneak it into, you know, like, our kids' shows. Like, it's everywhere. It's in the music that our kids listen to.
Right.
All of the celebrities that are prevalent right now, they're all satanic. It's everywhere.
Yeah, and they're all pushing the same thing, and it's just frustrating to know that campaigns like this that the Satanic Temple is pushing will actually have some impact on the general public, just because, and the fact that these tactics work, it's frustrating.
But like, you're even participating in it, like, unknowingly, like, for all of these young kids. It's sad.
Yeah. What's the reference for that verse, for the truth? Thanks for joining us, by the way, for the truth, and amen. Love that verse. Reminds me of this Rich Mullins song. Mo TVR says that is literally a religion based on doing whatever you can to get ahead in life. Lie, cheat, and steal. Do what thou wilt. Amen, dude. Sounds like it might as well just be pulled right from the video we just put out about Aleister Crowley, and I totally agree. You know, and the Bible talks about, like, when you have this Antichrist kingdom, and you got this one currency, you know, and that I always end up having to break this down just because I've been in this truther scene for so long. I know that Christians, Psalm 2, thank you for the truth. I know that Christians are always talking about, like, in the end, there's going to be one government, one currency, you know, and one religion. And those are all true statements. But if you try to look up those phrases specifically in the Bible, what you're going to come up with is it's through the mark of the beast that the one currency is enabled, you know, just because you need to have it to buy or sell. And it's going to be the Antichrist, you know, at the throne of the new religion. And we're on the same page about that. And so yes, I actually do agree with you that, yeah, this lie, cheat, and steal, do what thou wilt. This new, what would you even call it? Like the woke, most selfish, you know, you identify as, you create your own existence, you will your own existence. That's the new religion.
Live for yourself.
Yeah. Here's a continuation of what Lucian Greaves was saying. Then we're moving on to the next topic. Lucian Greaves, the leader of the Satanic Temple. He continues and says, don't you think it's best to keep religion out of schools? Yes, but the worst case scenario when religion is allowed in the schools is an environment in which one religious voice enjoys the exclusive benefit of delivering its teachings to the children, promoting the understanding that their religion is endorsed by the school or otherwise has special privilege within their community. The Satanic Temple does not advocate for religion in schools, even though they refer to themselves as a religion based around a mythological creature in their words. However, once religion invades schools, as the Good News Club have, right? God forbid, it's spreading the gospel, teaching people to love one another and treat others better than they would treat themselves, as they would want to be treated. But you get what I'm saying. Esteem others higher than you would esteem yourself. The Satanic Temple will fight to ensure The Satanic Temple will fight to ensure that plurality and true religious liberty are respected. Yeah. As if it's not now. Are you telling me that these same schools that have these good news clubs wouldn't allow for like Muslims or Buddhist people to have their own? They wouldn't. How's the Dells? Busy? I'm from. Oh, cool. Oh, you're right. You're from. You're a neighbor. The Dells is seems busy, but I haven't really been to the Dells before. This is my first time.
No, honestly, like,
so I don't know.
The streets weren't too bad, but since this was like a field trip at the Kalahari for like this homeschool program, it was actually pretty packed. But we got here Thursday. It hasn't been too bad, right? Like traffic has been fine.
Yeah. No, it's been pretty good. That's right, Renee. I agree. It's divide and conquer. You got to keep everybody divided so that they can't unite against you. I was telling someone earlier that they want to break down all the norms and have everyone mad at everything all the time. The ultimate divide and conquer. Hey, yeah, we said it at the same time, man. Yeah, so you guys are saying the same thing, Renee and Mo, and I totally agree. They do want everyone mad at all times. You know, my dad was telling me something a long time ago. We were kind of having this profound man-to-man and talking about, this, how crazy the world's getting. And my dad was born in 1955. And he said that, and he was talking about his mom. So she was even older, and what he said was, he was like, there was a time not that long ago when you would wake up in the morning and what you would be thinking about is what you had to do that day. You had to go to work, and you'd wake up and you'd wake up to your alarm, and you might smell something cooking if it was breakfast, and you'd get up and you'd have to think about your day, and you might have a checklist of what you had to do. Some people might pick up a newspaper and read it, but then you'd go to work, and pretty much throughout the day, you would be focused on whatever it was that you were actually doing, like actually living in the moment. And he was just talking about how sometimes since the internet became a thing, and this is a transition that I can't relate to because it's always been like this for me. And it's actually before the internet, it was TV, and it was even in his time. But like at some point, our culture started to shift. Like once we went from like just having a special evening or afternoon news program, once we started having these 24-hour a day news networks, and then especially once we started having the internet, it started to become like every day you wake up and it's like, all right, here's all the terrible stuff going on around the world that you can't do anything about. Right. This, something you have no control over. Be concerned about this. Don't forget to remember the anniversary of this terrible girl that got this thing happened to her. And it's like, instead of being able to focus on just what your own life, like you're bombarded with all this stuff that's actually not related to your life, but that just is. Am I just, I don't know.
Okay. So part of that, like, I feel that like most, people our age, like they kind of grew up with like, you listen to the morning news, like you turn the news on and stuff. And like, I feel like my parents did that to an extent.
Yeah, so did mine.
And
then for us, it's like, you're
bombarded with this information.
And so the point, I don't even, who was it that even sent me off on that? Keep people at each other's throat. Okay. I'm sorry, you guys. I know I was just ranting, but I hope we're all on the same page here. And who started CNN? Mr. Ted Turner. There's too many people using too much stuff. I know, right? And he, by the way, has like a bunch of kids himself, but he wants to like limit how many kids other people can have. All right, moving on. I guess we'll finish off what this jerk is saying. The pre-existing presence of evangelical after-school clubs not only established a precedent for which school districts must now accept satanic groups, but the evangelical after-school clubs have created the need for satanic after-school clubs to offer a contrasting balance to students' extracurricular activities. A contrasting balance, because if there's like a Christian school, the obvious contrast, I suppose, to Christianity would be outright Satanism. Maybe not the rest of secular school, right? Teaching them about evolution and all that other nonsense. Teaching them about 1,000 genders. Good news clubs are an after-school program established by an insidious organization. And this is what Lucian says about, and I don't know anything about the Child Evangelism Fellowship, but I got to say, I'll bet you I'm on their side between this bout right here. I'm already on their side. But I just so not even knowing anything about them, I just love that insidious organization. Insidious because in Lucian's mind, because this organization and the only reason for these programs is to spread the gospel with kids, and to teach what they believe to be true. And they believe they even have evidence to prove is true, but the tenets of that are so beneficial to one's life. Like they want to teach that to these kids. Lucian finds that to be insidious, right? Because what they're actually doing is indoctrinating these kids from their natural inherent right to be able to not be told any type of religious or superstitious or faith-based belief, but instead to only have access to so-called science, which is really, what Mo TBR is talking about, the new religion and whatever is, okay. I'm sorry, guys. Known as the CEF, whose stated mission is to evangelize boys and girls with the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ and to establish or disciple them in the word of God and in the local church for Christian living. Again, it's got the thingy. Just annoyed by that. Here's something that Amber pulled up that's really going to drive you guys nuts. Right?
Wait, you were able to access this?
No, because I just re-looked it up myself.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, this is one of the...
This one really...
This is one of the articles that she sent.
Got me.
Yeah. So I just broke this down. This is from NPR. How to talk to magic potion doubters. 5 tips for parent ambassadors. And I don't think I included it in this slideshow. Again, I didn't have much time, but this is appealing to parents who want to preach to anti-magic potion people or just non-potioned people. And it gives them the prestigious and pretentious title of ambassador to make you feel like you're especially important for parroting what you're being told. And I just gave a different slide for each one of these 5 because they're so great. You just gotta see each one of them. All right, number 1. Amber, go through this with me. Here's the first, and I wish I would have included. I really should have included the first paragraph. Didn't even include who wrote it. Didn't include the guy's name who came up with this thing. But look it up yourself. NPR. Here's the title. You can find it yourself. Whatever. Whoever it was, this is what they said. The first tip. Presume the desired behavior is a norm. The desired behavior being to be potioned. Presume just that. Act like that's what's normal. That's what everyone should be doing. This is called presumptive communication. And there has been research on how it can positively influence people's choices and beliefs around behaviors like drinking or sexual harassment. And notice, by the way, as we read this, how it pretty much sounds like you're a CIA agent right now getting taught how to brainwash and manipulate people. Parents can set a positive social norm around magic potions by posting on social media when their own children are magic potioned, or by bringing it up at the playground. Hey, we got Ethan his second shot last week. When is your son getting magic potioned? Or, wow, did you see there were 150 people at the school's magic potion ritual?
This is where I lose mom friends. Because I'm like,
yeah.
No.
Yeah, Amber's been like a warrior on this topic. What do you guys think about this though? So here's just our number 1 out of 5.
People literally think that our kids are diseased.
I just like how this is literally telling the sheeple out there, or telling anyone. It's like it's saying okay, this is how you do it. Act like your ways are normal. But the bigger point is just that it's like a strategy guide, like a blueprint of how to manipulate people into believing. By the end, you'll see things that you don't understand yourself. One thing that I say whenever I'm talking about this stuff is, dude, I don't understand magic potion science. I don't claim to. Am I ardently against it? Yes. Do I take a stand that none of my family gets that stuff? Yes. And I do have good reasons for it, but it's not because I stand up here on some high horse, Dr. Tim O'Keefe, like I actually presume to understand the science of what goes into those things. I stand on the very notion that God is the one that is behind creation. And God is
And there's proof of that. Look at our beautiful, healthy children. All 5 of them.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's true. We don't go to the doctor and we don't get sick.
Well,
Except for that, we're always sick.
No, if
only when
if our kids needed a doctor, absolutely.
We'll go, but it just never happens. But I agree. I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but it's just that like now we have even experience to back up our original convictions. But yeah, just look at this language, man. Like this is encouraging people. Like, hey, go to be at the playground and say, hey, say this at some stranger or friend at the playground. Hey, my son got his 2nd shot last week. When is your son getting the shot? Like this is telling regular people like to put yourself in the role of a professional advocate for a product. By the way, don't forget that this is a product. Like we're all being coerced into not only a medical procedure that we're being forced into, but also into the purchase of a product. Maybe you're not the one purchasing it. Maybe it's free, right? I can't believe people still believe that there's a free thing out there. You're still the people that think that they're not paying for it. But if you want to understand that, go back and watch our economy episode from like 2 back. Number 2, if someone expresses doubts, ask open-ended questions like these. How do you feel about this? Or what are you worried about? Or how can I help you think through this? How condescending is that, by the way? If I was like, no, I don't really trust it. Well, how can I'm imagining some stranger, right? That says, hey, my son, hey, Tim, you said your name was Tim. Good to meet you. I'm Joe. Here we are at the playground, right? He's like, hey, my son, what would his guy named Joe's kid be? Doesn't matter. Hey, my son Joe Jr., we call him JJ. My son JJ just got his booster shot. When are your kids going to get the shot? Right? And I say, oh, I don't know, man. I got some doubts. And he says, well, how can I help you think through this?
Dude, no, like this whole article, like, and I hate to use the word like cringy, but like it really was that. And it's just like, also, like, are there actually people reading this? Like they see the headlines and they're like, okay, yeah, I need some new strategies on how to educate people. But it's right. Not educate, it's like coercing almost.
Also,
like,
and if you ever feel inclined that you're in a position to educate somebody about something, you'll know that you're in that position to do so because you'll understand, you'll have a knowledge that you'll actually have it, that you could share with somebody. Anytime anybody that would take the time to read this article and that would literally see a headline that says 5 tips for how to tell people this, anyone that even clicks that is already somebody that is unqualified to be in a position of teaching anybody anything. Because if you need to listen to tips of how to do it, then trust me, you're unqualified. Right? For real. I would look at someone like they were insane if they did that. Oh no, now my computer's, hold on. It does this thing, Amber. I'm trying to read what Mo's saying, but I can't because this thing comes up.
I know. You just need to get a new one.
But we all know they would end up screaming at you and calling you a Trumper in the end, right? Oh, we are all being conditioned. Tinkerbell, where did you find out about Fallen World Films? It's cool seeing you on here. I'm really glad to have you, but you're a new face.
No, they told me.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going. What are you worried about? How can I help you? How can I help you think through this? What would help you make a decision? What would help you? So that's what you say to someone that doesn't want to do it. You need to understand their specific concerns in order to counter them successfully, right? So there's another language thing. You need to understand, try to understand their concerns. Why? So that you guys can have a dialogue about it and so that you can like bounce back and forth and like figure out what you want to do. No. Understand their concerns so that you can counter them specifically or successfully. Remind you that in the end, your goal here is to counter them because the truth is that you should get the potion. So listen to their concerns and consider, how can I counter this? Do you see how you're being set up to not even, like, for anybody that's dumb enough to even read this in the first place, to not be receptive to the any actual logical, rational, reasonable concerns, of which there are many, because they're already predisposed to deflecting, to rejecting. This is called tailoring the message to the person.
Dude, and okay, that was one of, and they even like put it in quotations, like tailoring
Right.
the message.
They should just be like, this is called washing the brain.
And like, no, and so like I did click on this headline, and I was just like, all right, this is gonna be a good one.
Yeah, well, you were right, babe. This is gold right here. Let's see number 3. I gave a thumbs up. I agree with this one, although it will also break down this psychologically because it actually is more psychological bullying. But listen actively with your phone turned off. No rolling eyes, no crossing arms or looking away, which are signs of disrespect or defensiveness. So while I agree with this is doing any of these things is downright rude.
Common, like.
But why are you telling me this?
Human courtesy. Like.
Because you're telling. So the person that you're supposed. So the supposed market and demographic for this particular article, what are they calling them? Parent ambassadors. So here they are teaching you, an ambassador who's going to educate somebody like me who doesn't want to get the thing right, and yet you're so stupid that you need somebody to tell you to not. Need I say more? Washing the brain. I know that was a funny one. I was proud of myself for that one. We'll skip past that because it's just so dumb. Number 4, show empathy to build trust. Not because you're empathetic. Build trust. Build a faith. Listen, I'm not even giving this. I don't think I'm going too hard on this article. Like, they are making no qualms and doing. They're making no attempt to dress us up as anything more than what it is, which is truly just a blueprint for how to manipulate. Show empathy to build trust. That's what you also teach somebody when it comes to like how to, like a pimp knows that, like Dude, that's a pimp tactic. That's like a predator tactic. Affirm their choice, but maybe I'm going too far. Affirm their choice to be in the conversation. I just hate the language. Affirm their choice to be in the conversation. I'm glad you're taking the time to learn about this and validate their emotions without validating the misinformation that may drive them. Okay, validate their emotions, but don't validate the misinformation. And it's so this article's telling you whatever they say, it's misinformation.
First of all, what they are recommending to say is like so condescending. Like me personally, if someone came up to me and asked about my kid's vaccine status, or mine for that matter, and I actually engaged with them, and they tell me, I'm glad you're taking the time to learn about this after I've truly made up my mind.
This is pretty much teaching you how to ensure you have no friends.
It's so condescending and like, who would even...
Mo says, can you imagine the FEMA training manuals? I would say probably just like this. And Renee says, no rolling eyes. Oh, that's hard for me.
Same, girl.
Yeah, you sound like my wife. For example, if someone tells you that the magic potion changes your DNA, do your own research on our mRNA. Understand, and this is what they do. Change your DNA, because does it really change your DNA? This is all word games. They do this with the microchips too. I'm not going to get into all that because YouTube will ban the thing. By the way, here's my obligatory and arbitrary. I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving medical advice. Okay. I had to say that. Man, good one. I just saved the whole video. Anyways, if someone tells you that the potion changes your DNA, you can respond, that would be really scary. Of course, you want to make sure that magic potions are safe. Of course, you want to make sure that magic potions are safe. The good news, and back to your condescension, the good news is that no magic potion can change your DNA. And I can share information with you that could help you understand the science behind it, as if the person reading the article saying this thing understands the science behind it.
Hey, where are the links?
And even if you show me links, that doesn't help me understand the science.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
In the article, this article is telling people I can share information with you. But they'd have no information, even in this article, to share.
Let me tell you something about scientific information. One thing, and you know what, and it makes me think of another thing. I am just like anybody watching this thing. I don't want anybody to ever get the idea that because I'm coming on here and the things that I'm researching and I'm sharing and I'm able to articulate things sometimes, like I don't think I'm some really smart person. I don't think I'm above anybody else. And you guys should all be fact checking anything I say, because I'm not and a lot of it, if I feel anything, the few things I'm an expert in, I will let you know that I am, but the majority of this stuff I'm not. And it's like, me and Amber like are literally like researching this stuff and just kind of like we're going through this together. So I say all that to say this, that as somebody that does research stuff all the time and that does have like a basic understanding of a lot of the stuff that, I mean, at least anything I'm willing to talk about on my show, you know, when it comes to this understanding the science, let me tell you something, and I'm not even embarrassed to say it. I don't understand any of the science to any of this stuff. I look into these scientific white papers, like I look into the legal language behind a lot of these laws and stuff, and I don't understand half of what I'm reading, and nobody does. It's jargon, right? In fact, there's a whole like there's an entire industry of law that exists around the ability to be taught this language that's impractical from a linguistic standpoint, but that only exists to be complicated so that only people that know that special language can write things in a, like, because it's all about like trying to trick others through language. I'm just trying to say, I'm reading this thing and it's telling the ignoramus to come back at the magic potion person that doesn't want the potion and try to school them with science and say, I can share information with you that will help you understand the science. And I say, BS, you don't understand the science. But there's one science that's really easy to understand. There's no reason to inject some foreign substance into your body to prevent you from getting something that, you know, and then now hear me out on this too. Like me and Amber keep having to say it every time we talk about this. Like, I got 5 kids, and if one of them gets really hurt and I take him to a doctor and he looks me in the eyes and he says, you know what we need to do to make your kid healthy? We need to give him a shot. I would say, I'll pull his sleeve up for you, you know, but it's like, we're in this situation.
Like, meaning like antibiotics.
I'm just saying, like, from a philosophical and from, yeah, maybe so. But I'm just saying at the end of the day, like, there's something so perverted about the notion of like having like everybody having to compulsory take this, you know,
right
operation. And
well, and it just like it goes back to like, so when you were telling like my OBGYN that it's like reactive medicine. And like he was saying like it always stuck with me that like your husband is all about like being reactive about things.
Well, and I got respect for people that don't even do that. But yeah, like, yeah, if you're gonna medicate something, medicate a problem. Don't medicate a healthy person.
And I feel like the exact same way, which is like it's awesome that we are on that same page, because it's like look at our kids, they're completely healthy. Now, why?
And yeah, and if they weren't, I would go to a doctor. But I'll tell you what I'm not going to do
is anything different.
I said this in the last episode, but I say it all the time. But it's like, you know why I don't let the government inject potions into my family? The same reason that I don't let Casey Anthony babysit my kids, because if somebody has a track record of just trying to kill people and like of being completely irresponsible and of having like if the very same institutions that are pro-choice and telling me to kill my baby when it's still in the womb, and that are telling me to not have so many kids, and that are telling me that my species is a problem for the whole world, and that we're the reason behind global warming, and that we're like a parasite on the planet, and by the way, line up and let me stick this thing in your arm. Well, after all that other stuff, I suspect now that that's poison, because you're sounding like big old AH. Thanks, Renee. Got on my little rant. Number 5, debunk misinformation and myths. Whatever that guy's last name is, he's who wrote this. LeMay says many people skip straight to this step. Okay, so I'm sorry. The step is debunk misinformation. Many people skip straight to this step, thinking the best antidote to bad information is good information. Not so. This is what he says. Well, I can't explain how there is no microchip in the vaccine. Okay, so I guess I forgot to add before it mentions number 5, it poses the hypothetical situation of the guy saying, well, the reason I don't want to get the potion is because I'm afraid there's going to be a microchip in there. And here we go. Once again, another video in a row to please watch the Chip documentary and understand how there was never a concern that there was a microchip in the potion. The microchip thing is very real. Now it's in the news, so there you go. But it was 2 separate things, just the same legislation being used to make it happen. Duh. Okay. So you needed to know that as a pretext. Well, I can explain how there is no microchip in the magic potion, he says. It's really important for me to be able to listen and be empathetic instead of being dismissive. So if someone states a false belief, you can, again, validate them by acknowledging that it's hard to make our way through the disinformation landscape. And again, who are you to even claim if it's a false belief? That's the thing. I'm the conspiracy theorist for saying that I don't know. The conspiracy theorist is the one that's humble enough to say he just doesn't know. I'm not even saying your belief is false. I'm saying, like, I'm not accepting. I will not not conform, but I will not consent to mandatory anything because I don't know anything, and I just want to make my own decisions for myself and my family. And it's that I'm not a scientist, and I have no, and I sense no. What's the word I'm even looking for? Like, why do I feel like I'm required to be a scientist in order to maintain my freedom? I shouldn't be. How about just like, I just want to be free and I'm not scared of the thing. And if I feel scared of something, I'll decide what to do because I'm the dad and I'm the husband and I'm myself. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm in a mood. Now, mind you, here we are at Wisconsin Dells. I've been chasing around the kids all day. So I got a little bit of sass on me.
Dude, it was crazy. It was crazy up in there.
We've had a crazy day. Oh, Eric Haggins stopped by. Hey, Eric. Good to see you, man. No FEMA camps, he says. Cool, man. Glad you're here, bro. All right, moving on. Then pivot to the truth, as if you know that, he says. She says I'm talking louder than I should. I'm trying to quiet down, but it's hard. I understand that there's a lot of information out there. No, but Amber's got to, come on. What about Eric Haggins? He needs to hear.
I know, but like, I don't want to deal with the baby. I was just at the water park too all day. I have chlorine.
Dude, the kids are loving it. Look at. There's part of me that wants to show, but like that'd be so creepy, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna share them with the YouTube. You guys are so cute. All these kids and their cousins all sleeping in bed. We're all in this hotel room.
We got conjoining rooms because we have like 9 freaking kids in between 2 rooms. How did this happen? It's too many.
Yeah, it's hard to really trust anybody. I definitely don't trust any of those institutions either, Renee. I only trust God. I trust God to convict me in the spirit about something that is beyond my knowledge. If I shouldn't or should be doing it. Last part of this little thing is what's happening here, he says, is that I'm pivoting the conversation slightly to sort of be like, okay, here's how the magic potion was made, which means there's actually no microchip in the magic potion. And again, so it's saying here, read this literature. This literature will explain to you how the magic potion was made, and then recite what you just read and say, well, no. See, this is how the magic potion was made. Do you see the word microchips? And you already get it, you guys. You get it. 2 more quick things I wanted to jump on. Oh, I'm going to jump again. Whatever. Don't really matter. All right. So no real literature about this, but here's something that's getting closer and closer. Elon Musk's Neuralink, another thing Amber was talking about and sent to me. Experts are ringing alarms about Elon Musk's brain implants. This was in the Daily Beast just the other day, just like 2 days ago. And then futurism, scientists express concern at Elon Musk's Neuralink brain chip. You think? Elon Musk's Neuralink plans to implant chips in human brains to treat neural disorders. Okay, so I want to talk about this. And then finally, Elon Musk's brain chip firm Neuralink lines up clinical trials in humans. So now what's happening? They're about to start like literally lining up these clinical trials and all this Neuralink brain chip stuff. that we've known about forever is really happening now. And I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about this middle. I just put headlines here, you guys. I didn't have time, like I keep saying. Definitely didn't have time this time to really get into the meat of this one. But this middle one, like so much of this Neuralink thing and even the microchip thing that's coming, something I really focus on a lot, is it's based around the implications, applications and benefits that it could have regarding health situations, right? So like you'll see everything if you look into this with microchips, from being able to help the deaf to hear. Don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful thing. And if one of my kids was deaf and there was something device I'd probably want to do it. Same with like causing the blind to see, right? Causing this Neuralink can be used to treat neural disorders, okay? But then you turn around and think of everything I just said. Even though I would, like I said, I could try to empathize with people that would want to use this technology, but to be able to see if you're blind, to be able to hear if you're deaf, to be able to have a chip in your brain that treats these disorders that you have. And I just think about this Antichrist kingdom, and I think about the Antichrist coming, as a false Messiah. And what does the Messiah do is perform miracles, and the Antichrist will actually perform many miracles himself, and I think that when if you're willing to stretch the beast system and all this coming, metaverse technology stuff, like it's just kind of just another thing I read about this, and it kind of paints a picture for me to how I see that kind of being integrated into developing just another angle developing into what will become tomorrow. United Nation. Okay. So, but anyways, yeah, I know I was kind of ranting there, but yeah, I just feel like the end times implications of that, like to be able to actually cure mental illnesses and to be able to, and all that with a brain chip, and I think about a close relative that just passed away in my family just the other week, who lived way longer. Like he was mentally disabled, and he lived to be, how old was Brian? 70?
73.
So he lived to be 73, and doctors said he wouldn't make
72.
it past 72, and doctors said he wouldn't make it past like 10 or 12 or something. And he was like a big brother to me. And I'm not going to say, maybe I'll make I don't know. I'll tell you guys about Brian another time. But the bigger point is that I think about like, wow, imagine if there was a technology where he could get like a chip in his brain, right? That could actually correct that. And then it's like, there's a big part of you that'd be like, well, that would be a great thing. That's definitely a medical advancement.
It'd be too overwhelming for him.
But no, it's
he
not.
Wasn't made to be like that,
Well, yes, there's that. But there's also like, what if you could do it and it worked for Brian, and then it worked for, the ways that like Elon Musk is saying it's going to work with Neuralink for a generation or two. But then this stuff is all such a long play, generational kind of deal. What happens 2 generations from now when everybody's got these chips in their brain that are connected to a computer, and they can use computers to move things around them? And what happens when someone flips the switch and the computers are now the ones moving them around? I'm just saying, it's like the vision that I have, like for how the mark of the beast will like really enslave everybody is going to be like they got to get these chips into people's heads, but and hands, but they're not going to be able to do it through like, I'm going off on a whole thing. I'm just saying, I don't even know where I'm going with this, apart from just saying I can't help but see this stuff and see some connections. I have brain injuries, and for years I would have taken this chip until maybe the last 6 months I have woken up. That's good to hear, Tinkerbell. Yeah, I wouldn't want you to take the chip, man, just because, like, there's got to be a level to, so these brain chips, at least when it comes to Neuralink and stuff, they're all connected to these things that I think they call them BMIs, am I saying that wrong? Brain something interface, machine interfaces. Either way, yeah, it's like this totally artificial AI based thing that you're like implanting into your brain. I don't know. To me, it's invading way too personal of a space. It's getting too intimate. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so that's coming. Oh yeah. All right. Here we go. And this is the last little thing I threw in here, you guys. This is just I actually wanted to put in a bunch of news about this, but it was like 10 minutes. This is when, if you didn't notice, I went from starting the thing at 10:30 to 10:45 because I was running out of time. I was like, dang, I need to get this thing finished. It's 10:30. So I just threw this up instead. This is just a post I made. These are the real heroes on the front line. And just a headline from The Guardian. Canada truckers magic potion protest spirals into calls to repeal all public health rules. And so, I just figured out how to take that off. So that's a trick. All public health rules. So, nothing specifically about this article, but like, what do you guys think about that? What's going on right now in Canada when it comes to this giant truck convoy? It's awesome. You have like hundreds. The mainstream media is saying hundreds. So for all I know, it's probably thousands. Who knows? But you got like hundreds and hundreds of semi trucks that are all driving together in a convoy through Canada right now, all as a protest against the magic potion mandates. And if you look this up right now, and and I wish I had the ability to do that on the screen. I know I can because I see other YouTube guys doing it, but I have trouble when I try testing it out. But anyways, just go on, just check that out. Check that out after this stream ends yourself if you're not already following it, and just keep an eye on that. This trucker convoy in Canada, dude, they need our support, and like it's all over the news. The Canadian government is like kind of like refusing to acknowledge them. I think I saw that maybe some I don't know, some government official agreed to meet with the truckers or something like that. I don't know. It's real crazy. It's going on right now, but something I couldn't help but throw in there because like I definitely stand in solidarity with these protests. And it's kind of cool because like these truckers, like you need obviously truckers to make your world go round. So they're to make your country move, to make your commerce work. And so these truckers are really sticking it to the Canadian government, which, by the way, the Canadian government is, got to be just one of the worst with how all this stuff is going. I just saw like in Walmarts in Canada now they're putting up these like booths that you got to walk through to detect if you have your passport. So this is just awesome. I wish I had more stuff on it. Maybe I'll make like a cool like tribute video for the truckers like I did for Australia. I don't know. Renee says the people of Canada have raised $7 million for the family so they can do this. Awesome.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, I'll send you an email. Okay. Now baby's crying. So listen, guys, that's the end of the slides. There's a baby crying right now. I'm having fun just talking to you guys. I am glad we did this, but I don't know how much longer we should go, Amber. What do you think? What's going on, dude? I feel like this is.
It's so bright.
It's too bright.
No, and like all of the chlorine from the water park.
Just tell them about our day real quick.
I don't know.
Real quick.
It was super fun. We were just a couple of tourists at Wisconsin Dells, hanging out. It was pretty awesome because it was a field trip, so everything was like free today. And we made a little mini vacay out of it. Give me this guy.
Yeah, we have a little Abel here.
It was so fun though. We made it we kept it a surprise from all the kids, and they thought we were going home today. We stayed in the Dells last night. They thought we were going home.
Yeah, and somehow we managed to keep it a secret all the way up until because we were meeting up with my sister-in-law and our cousins today at 2 p.m. Right, so we came up. I took a half day at work yesterday. And we came up here and we said, all right, you guys, it's a secret. It's a surprise where we're going. And we went all the way to the Dells, which is like 2 hours away. And we got to the hotel and we're like, all right, we're here. And they were so excited that we were at this hotel and they had so much fun at just being in their own room, you know, and they were like, and they were just like, oh, wow, tomorrow I want to do this on our way home. And they were just convinced that that was the big surprise.
No,
And then,
the sweetest thing is like, okay, so our 2-year-old son and our 4-year-old daughter, like we got a suite. Like we had separate like rooms kind of from the kids. But like all they wanted to do was like take a bath in the bathtub and thought it was like the best thing in the world.
yeah, right. I know we get here and they just wanted to take a bath.
They're like, we have a bathtub in our room. Can we take a bath? And I'm like, sure. Go
Thanks,
ahead.
Renee.
It's so sweet.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Just like the innocence.
Yeah, but yeah, right. I know. And then so we're driving. So anyways, yeah. They're like, oh, we had so much fun, and they're thinking that just coming to the hotel last night was the treat. We didn't tell them even about the water park yet today. So then we leave, and we have 3 hours to burn before we can meet up with Brittany. So like, you know, we went through a drive-through, and we're just like, we got them just sitting in the car, like literally just sitting there, and we're just waiting, and they were being real well behaved. And Amber's like, how long are we gonna let this go on before we just tell them what we're doing? And I could just sit here and tell you step by step everything that's happened this weekend. I don't know if it makes for the best viewing, but anyways, you guys, here we are, Wisconsin Dells. We're having a great time with the family. I'm gonna wrap this up, but thanks you guys for coming on here. I followed through on what I said I was gonna do. I told you we were gonna join from the Dells. And so we threw this together, and I'm glad we did. It was fun catching up with you guys. I want to stay consistent. So you know what? We can do this on Fridays. I want to keep giving you guys good shows, but whenever we're not ready, maybe we'll just jump on here and just talk with you guys like we did tonight, because this worked too. And so yeah, it was cool catching up with you guys. We're gonna be back real soon. Well, we'll be back Friday if you don't see me or if you don't see anything from us before then. And I think that's it on our end. We love you guys, and see you next time. God bless you. Say your prayers. Take care of each other. You know what? And then one of these days, also, guess what? I'm going to sing you a song.